Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dan with Eggheads DFS. Got Chris with me. What's up, man? How you
What's
doing?
going, what's going on, man? Just excited for the
I
baseball season, dude.
I am, yeah. My team sucks. Great.
Yeah, yeah,
It's you know, new sport. NBA has been, success-wise, NBA has continued being successful, I guess, but it's just kind of
yeah.
a
It's a headache. It's a headache.
it's kind of nuts right now at this
Yeah,
time of year. So, yeah, it's funny, like, you know, someone in the chat was like, "Oh, here we go already," because the Reds game's postponed tomorrow.
yeah. I heard you, Keith. I heard you.
So it's like, oh, we got people sitting in the NBA, and now the first slate, we got the
Yeah,
postponed. But it is pretty nice they gave us today because
yeah.
I
You
mean,
got a
it
whole,
doesn't start
you
till
know.
tomorrow, so
No, yeah, it's true.
and it takes Scherzer out of play, which sucks because I was probably on him, and then it also really sucks because I think Homer Bailey is probably the worst pitcher on the whole slate. So
He's gone. So,
he gone.
yeah. Back to the drawing board on that.
Yeah, but
But
yeah, I'm excited for baseball, man. I'm ready to get NBA wrapped up. It's been a good 2.5 months since we started. It's been good, but
yeah,
I am ready for
yeah. It's
a
all the NBA
new,
is only going to get
new
crazier
sport.
too. You know,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
last 7 to 10 days left.
yeah.
But I kind of, wanted to have you on here today, just to kind of talk about, the MLB DFS. I got DM'd quite a few messages, quite a few questions, regarding it. So I thought, like, I took four of the questions I thought that I received, the most questions on. So I thought I'd ask you. You're kind of our MLB expert over here.
Yeah.
So whenever we like win, you can praise me. When we lose, you guys can
Yeah.
just attack.
Yeah.
So
That's
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 kind of how it's
that's
going to
how
be.
it, that's how it goes
That's how
normally.
it goes here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you these questions, man. And like I said, these are the common questions I got. Like, probably received like 10 or 15 questions in the last 7 to 10 days, and from our subs. So these are kind of the basic questions, and maybe you can help them out. Um, give them some perspective and some of your insight.
I
Um,
think I froze our feed. Sorry about that. I'm trying to close some stuff here.
no problem.
I think maybe we're coming back. 1 second here.
We're back.
I had to- I'm frozen on my end, so I don't know. I got like a stupid looking face on
Ricky
my.
Bobby, you are not frozen. I can see your face.
I,
You are not frozen.
all right, now we're good. Now we're caught up. All right, sorry about that. I had like a ton of crap in the background running. I could just hear it on my computer, so I was like, I got to get rid of that stuff.
You are not on fire, Dan.
Um,
Um,
yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll answer questions. I think the first thing I wanted to start off with before you jump into the questions is just kind of what we do. So,
yeah,
like NBA, we're different. Like, we do a cash, we do a couple GPPs, we do, you know,
yeah,
different sports, different things. So I think we've decided in baseball we're going to do a cash line for every slate, and then we're going to do just a GPP line for every slate. I
yeah,
don't think we're going to get crazy like, like 2 GPPs for FanDuel and 1 GPP for DraftKings. I think we're just
yeah,
going to keep it 1 and 1. And I still recommend single entry GPPs unless you're massing something. I don't think there's a reason to play like a $4 entry that could win top prize of $50,000 if you only have one entry. If it's
yeah,
like 150, but that's just me.
yeah. Good point.
But yeah, so I think we're just gonna do 1 and 1. We are gonna do FanDuel. We're gonna do DraftKings. I'm gonna tinker around on fantasy draft a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna fully dive into that yet, but I will. I played over there last year, so
Yeah,
I might dive in there a little bit.
kind of
Um,
a little secret. You've been pretty successful over there lately. Kind of testing it out over there. So,
yeah,
um,
just
that,
test secret test run is what I like to call
yeah,
it.
which is pretty
Yeah,
good. It's pretty cool to see.
yeah,
You get a kind of an edge, I think, when you're looking at all three sites and stuff like that, and really diving into different information. So,
yeah. It's different over there, but I mean, I like I love. Well, I shouldn't say I love their format for baseball.
Yeah.
It's similar. It's similar to FanDuel, I guess, kind of, but I just like that they lump everything together. So there's no there's no first baseman, second baseman, third baseman. It's just infield.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, which I really like. So, I mean, I know FanDuel this year, they combined like catcher and first base, and then they added a utility this year. But like fantasy draft, for instance, and we won't talk about it a lot, but like fantasy draft, it's like infield, four of those, outfield, four of those, and then like two utilities or something.
That's a two pitcher slate.
It's a good question. I can't remember if they're one or two. I was looking over there earlier today. I want to say they're just one.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I know FanDuel. I know FanDuel's.
Yeah, FanDuel's one.
But yeah, I got to look now because you drive me nuts. But
well, while you look,
no, it is two pitcher. That's right. Yeah, two pitcher. Yeah, two pitcher, three infield, three outfield, two utilities. So yeah, yeah. But
obviously we'll test that. Keep testing it.
We'll run through some things. Basically, the only reason I haven't been playing that site is, well, NBA is kind of crazy to get out DraftKings and FanDuel.
Yeah.
But just us right now. But down the road, eventually, it'll be a little bit more manageable. But yeah, it's different pricing, so it's just different people. It's just
different people pop. Yeah.
The strategy, I don't know, necessarily changes because you're still trying to play the best players and meet the salary cap. But it's just different. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, we've done well over there, just doing kind of a trial run. I mean, but yeah, for the current subs or subscribers or anybody that wants to join, yeah. So I mean, baseball, we'll do 1-1, one cash, one GPP, and then we'll play every slate. I mean that they have. I don't want to say every single slate.
Yeah.
We'll 100% play the featured or the main.
Yeah.
I do like early slates. Like if there's an early slate during the day, I like playing those. I'm not a huge fan of like turbo slates, like playing those. I mean, if someone wants a turbo line, we do that for NBA now. Like if someone wants a turbo line, we'll do one. But
yeah, we're not going to be like
100% of the time. Yeah, we're not really going to target turbo.
There's one day a week, isn't there, that there'll always be an early games on too? I'm pretty.
Well, in the early start of the baseball season, they do a lot, but typically there's 1 to 2 day games.
Yeah. So just kind of keep that out, Yeah. In your head
during the week, that is. Yeah. It's normally like Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought there was 1 or 2 days designated to like, day games. But I know everyone's really excited about it. We've had a lot of people, ask us on Twitter about packages and, all that kind of stuff. Everyone's kind of, excited the season's kind of here.
Yeah.
So,
like
I said,
it was Wednesdays, by the way. I was wrong. Not Tuesday.
Yeah. I thought it was a day week that there was always.
Yeah. Next week there'll be day games like every single day.
Yeah. So.
Because baseball, they're kind of smart. So.
Yeah, there's a zillion games, so they have to figure out.
Yeah, they just make a shit ton of money, but people, go to the day games. Everybody loves the day baseball, man. It's springtime. It's April. Get outside, skip work a day. I mean, why not? Yeah. So I guess you've had some questions. I don't know if they're from subs or from people that are looking to join.
Yeah,
I think they range. I mean, you kind of briefed me on. I'll be a little bit surprised on some of them, I think, but. Basically, some of them are common DFS questions, and some of them are like baseball related. So if you want to ask them, I mean, I'll answer.
Yeah, these are basically like from our subs now. I think we've got a few subs that haven't actually played MLB DFS before, so I think it's good they ask these kind of questions. I guess I'll ask the most obvious question I think we get constantly. I think not only us, other providers get them. But it's like, how much should I bet per night? Or per slate, I guess. And very tough question for you to answer. I understand that, but it is your own money, right? But I think you can maybe give them a general idea of kind of, a percentage or how you go about deciding how you're going to bet each night or each slate.
Yeah, so I do. I do 5 to 10% each night. That's typically, I mean, NBA right now, shit, I'm doing like 2%, but
Yeah.
like NBA in full swing, I was playing, 5 to 10% a
Yeah.
night. The only thing that's different with baseball is you have split slates. So like tomorrow, for instance, like the early in Maine, you know, for me, like, and I could be different than everybody else, but if I say like I'm gonna play 5% of my bankroll, let's say tomorrow, I'm not gonna play like 5% early and 5% Maine.
No, I understand.
I'll probably do like, so if I play $100 tomorrow, which I think I have reserved like $100, let's say on DraftKings. So like I'll play $30 on the early and like 70% on, or $70 on the main.
Now, is that just because there's less games? I mean,
Well, less games, but contests too. So like
so that's a huge.
featured slates, and sometimes your day slate might be your featured slate. So I mean,
Yeah.
I should say day in Maine, but like the featured slate, I know DraftKings always puts like a little featured thing next to the
Yeah.
slate, and that just means for them that like those are where they're putting their contests, like they're
Yeah.
the majority of their contests.
Yeah.
Like you always see like a $5 single entry double up, a $10, $25, $50, and then on the early you might only have like multi-entry $5 double ups instead of like a
Yeah.
giant single or something.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I think the one thing that we see a lot. I mean, I've seen a lot of, I guess, buddies in DFS not really provide or not really subs yet, but they're so excited the MLB season's here. They're sick of. They just got a late scratch. They get a late scratch tonight.
All in.
And wake up tomorrow morning. They got the lineups out. The weather looks clear, and they go in 20% of their bankroll because they think that this is the new dawn of a new day. And
no,
it's still still DFS, right? So
yeah,
really
and I'll jump after that, but so like the thing with baseball, like it's funny you say that because like people are like, oh, baseball's back, I'm so excited, it's so awesome. Like, dude, baseball is like probably the most up and down DFS sport you can play. Like, I've said it before to people, and I'll say it on video here, but like, I mean, if you think about it, like someone like Jose Altuve, right? Like probably one of the best baseball, like the hitters in baseball, right? Like he bats like 350.
Yeah.
So that legit means that like 3.5 times out of 10 on average, he's getting a hit.
Yeah.
Like when you roster Jose Altuve, he's probably batting like 4 times. So he's going to get a hit like once, maybe 1.5, I guess, if you spread it out. But so it's just funny because that's like stats are, I mean, I'm a stat freak for like baseball, especially, but like it's just funny to me, like, and it's similar to hockey. Like, you play Alex Ovechkin at a high price, and like you expect Alex Ovechkin to score what, like 2 goals and get an assist. Like,
you expect him to be Alex Ovechkin.
The guy's only scored like 50 goals in the season, so on average he scores like once every like what 3 games or something. So like you just happen to have him on the game. You just happen to have him on the game that like he didn't score, right? You know what I mean?
If people don't know who those 2 guys are, it's basically what he's saying is, you can roster a player in a really good spot, in a perfect situation, in a perfect ballpark, or perfect weather, and he may not pay off salary. It's very easy.
Not even pay off salary. Like he might just get 0.
Yeah, you could get a 0. And I mean, you guys have been with us for hockey, which has been pretty good for us as a whole. But you guys have known, we've had Ovechkin in our lineups where, against the Canadiens, a dream spot at home, and he puts up a 0. I mean, in baseball, you get that. NBA, when you play Westbrook, you're not going to get a 0. I mean, there's a floor, and he's generally going to get to that floor, right? At least.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he doesn't get hurt, probably almost 10 out of 10 times he'll at least get to like the floor.
Baseball to me, I mean obviously if you pay for a stud you expect production, right? But I'm just trying to say, like, you're not necessarily going to get it. It's just funny to me, like, people are like, baseball's back, I'm so excited, it's awesome, and it's like,
It's
Yeah, I
really
mean, baseball can be successful, and I've done well at baseball, but like, I mean, you play the odds, you play the opportunities. Like, I mean, you just
yeah,
break it down as best as you can. Sometimes you gamble on some people, but I mean, really, like, I mean, I played, and like, it's not like I'm going to go out there and go 4 for 4 every single night when you take me. I mean,
so
so it's
I
just
was
it's a up and down sport,
yeah.
but I like it. Some people say like, like, oh, do you like MLB for cash games? Like I personally do, because
Yes, yeah.
there's a I think you can mitigate your risk like a lot better in baseball than you can like in hockey per se. Like
Yeah.
like someone like yeah, like so for instance, like someone like Jose Altuve, if he goes 0 for 3, he might get a walk at least and maybe steal a base. Like you kind of
Yeah.
play the odds and play the statistics that you like to look at. I look at different stuff than maybe some other people do. But I mean,
And
I love baseball.
yeah.
I don't really like watching baseball, to be honest with you. I think it's kind of boring. But I played it for a long time, so I don't like to watch it. But
It
uh,
don't you
yeah,
think it's kind of cool, like that you can get a guy that gets a zero and you can still cash. So it's kind of like comparable to hockey too, you know. If your other guys kind of step up and have real good games. I forgot who it was. I think it was a Phillies guy or Reds guy last year I rostered and in a tournament, well, a qualifier, and I won the qualifier. I had a Yankee stack, and the Yankee stack literally put up zero, like didn't do anything. And I paid all that money for, Gardner and Hicks and Judge and
legend, yeah.
Sanchez. And I won the qualifier because like the other dudes just went nuts. Dude hit like 3 home runs or something like that. It was insane. He was like $2,900. You'll know that guy if we talk about. He was
It was probably Reese Hoskins for
yeah,
Phil.
yeah. So and he's probably gonna ball out this year too. But just crazy. Like
Yeah,
um,
there's I mean
you
like
cash
I
the
said, man,
zero.
like the best way to explain MLB DFS is it's up and down, man. But like I mean, it's with any DFS sport, like
Yeah, no
play
different.
matchups, you play opportunities. Like if a guy's 2,900 and he's batting leadoff, he's probably going to be worth a look.
Yeah,
I mean, it depends who he plays, but yeah, the one thing for MLB DFS that I wish, one thing I don't like drafting for is the two pitcher thing. I just like there are some elite pitchers in baseball, but that doesn't mean that they're going to go out and just dominate everybody. I mean, we've seen.
yeah,
I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think who it is. I think it's the Indians. I think it's the Indians and Chris Sale. I think that's the correlation I'm looking for. Like Chris Sale is like one of the best pitchers in baseball. When he faces the Indians, he has like a 15 ERA.
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I don't
Which
know. People just see the ball better out of his hand. I don't know what it is, but yeah, like everybody's vulnerable, and you just basically, it's similar to. I would compare it to hockey a lot. We've talked about it a lot.
a
It's similar.
lot like hockey. It's
Yeah,
very
it is.
um,
But yeah, that was a long tangent on like how much to play,
well,
but
no, but you
just
definitely answered my second question with what already kind of what was the difference in and NBA and MLB. And I think you kind of answered it. It's variance. You know, like you said, you can pay up for a player in a good spot and get a zero. In NBA, you really don't get that. So I think you kind of answered the next question. What is the biggest difference? And I think that's kind of it. I mean, you kind of hit it. You kind of nailed it. I mean,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
but
I mean, it's
yeah, I mean, you kind of answered both questions. And I guess the other thing is like the one thing we don't have to worry about. Well, we've had a couple of these, but not actually due to weather too. But like, what are the weather concerns in baseball? I mean, obviously, everyone probably knows about cancellation and postpone, but that does play a huge factor in who you're going to roster.
yeah,
Um,
it
you
does.
know,
So I follow a couple different things on Twitter mainly. I mean, Twitter is the best source for like lineups. It's the best source for like news and injuries. The best source for weather, certainly. Because like I can look at weather patterns and go on weather.com and type in a ballpark, but
yeah,
like I mean, I'm not going to sit around and do that. Luckily there's people out there that actually do this, for a
yeah,
living and post
yeah,
it. The biggest thing with weather, So like it all depends on the positions. The biggest people affected by weather are pitchers. So like if it's rainy, I mean, obviously there's a chance that, and this is the biggest thing in baseball, there's a chance that like, well, the rain won't be there till 7:45. Well, if your pitcher starts at 7, you think what? Maybe if he goes clean, he gets like 3 innings. But then you run into a delay, and if it's like an hour 15, hour 30-minute delay, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
The other problem with that is if he pitches 3 innings and it gets postponed, you get a 0. So
I forgot about that. That's a really, really good point.
Yeah, MLB is different, and they're pretty good a lot of times. I mean, obviously there will be some nights, but they're pretty good a lot of times of like not starting games if it's going to rain. They'll just say, "Oh, it's postponed."
Yeah, they're really good.
But last year, I know, for instance, last year we had a situation where I want to say they delayed the game, and then they played, and then delayed again, and then they played, and then they finally like postponed it and just like resumed it the next day. And that's the biggest thing with baseball. So like it won't happen towards the beginning of the season usually, but towards like the middle-ish to the end of the season, you'll start seeing a lot of like they won't postpone games. They'll just delay the game. The problem is like the pitcher you have in it normally doesn't come back.
Yeah. So
but the biggest issue with that is like, and one thing that I look at a lot is scheduling. So like, I mean, we'll talk about it now, but like towards the end of the year, like if someone is supposed to get a rainstorm and there's only like a month of games left and they're like in the playoff race, like it's really hard to cancel that game because when are the two teams going to be open to play? So like what they'll do a lot of times is they'll do like, find a spot that's open for both, or they'll just delay it, or they'll try to get creative. But yeah, the biggest thing is we play DFS. Like I typically won't roster a pitcher if there's a chance of rain, like, like throughout the game or later on in the game. Like if they say rain's not going to come till like 9 and the game's at 7, I'll play the pitcher. I don't care. Hitters is the same situation because it's the same as pitchers. The problem with, hitters is like if it's a 3rd inning delay, I mean, the hitters are going to come back out and hit if they resume. But a pitcher, your arm goes cold for an hour and a half or whatever it is. It's really hard to warm back up, which a lot of people might not understand that. And I can't throw 95 miles an hour, but, like imagine like throwing as hard as you can and doing that like all the time for like an hour straight and like mixing a bunch of stuff. And then just all of a sudden, just like sitting around for 2 hours and then trying to do that again. It's not.
I'm sure there's a lot of injury risk in that too.
Very, especially because all these guys have had like elbow surgery or Tommy John shoulder surgery. I mean, so they don't like to do it. But yeah, weather is so that's the big thing with rain for weather. The second thing with weather is wind. So I look at wind. I look at wind and ballpark factors a lot. So like, if there's ever a situation where like, say, I don't know, let's say Wrigley Field has like 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, and like, Chris Bryant plays like Homer Bailey or someone bad, right? Like, obviously, I'll downgrade Chris Bryant a bit, but I mean, he's still a good play. But like, if Paul Goldschmidt is the same price and he's playing in Arizona inside, I'll play Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean,
wind is very, very much a factor, especially in a lot of these ballparks, the way it circulates. So like Camden Yards, for instance, in Baltimore, like the wind typically always blows out and it's a short field. So like if the wind's blowing out, like it's game over. Like Great America Ballpark in Cincinnati is short. So like if the wind's blowing out in Cincinnati, dude, it's like a home run derby.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Very good point, dude.
The one thing I'll just kind of top off on that is, and this drives me nuts, and I don't know why people just look at this and just assume this happens all the time, but so like Coors Field, we have to talk about Coors Field. So when there's a Coors Field slate, everybody just plays everybody from Coors Field because obviously elevation, air, your ball goes further, all that stuff, right? The problem I have with that is people just go tunnel vision when it's a Coors Field slate because they think, oh, there's a ton of home runs that are going to happen. Like, you start seeing it, like, obviously if there's a bad pitcher and he elevates the ball and someone hits a fly ball, like, it might be a fly ball to center field in like most parks, but it's a home run there.
Yeah.
I get that. But like, you still have to make solid enough contact to put it in the air and like put it that far.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where, like, you know, I'm going to play this catcher who's batting eighth that's $3,500 in Coors rather than taking like Wilson Contreras for like 3,700 against someone who's a bad pitcher. Like, give me the guy who's a good hitter in a good spot over a guy in Coors Field that's batting eighth just because he's in Coors Field.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great point.
I'm different than most people on that standpoint. But that's kind of like, that's where I kind of stand on that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's in cash, all those guys will be popular, you know, every time they're home.
Oh yeah, every time. Yeah.
Doesn't even matter who the pitcher is or who they're playing or what their record is. They'll be popular. I guess the last question I had for you was, what is the biggest difference in GPPs and cash? And again, it's really kind of just like hockey, but, you know, in a lot of ways. But for me, DFS, you know, they play your cash line. I mean, obviously you play every cash line in a single entry. I know you do that. But if they're playing and they're trying to, like, win it, you know, sort of thing, there's a difference. I mean,
Yeah. And I, you know, like I said, I might be different than other people, but it's just kind of what I do. So, like cash games, GPPs, whatever it is, like, so cash, I take the same strategy as far as cash in basketball, football, whatever it may be. So I play single entry double ups and I play 50-50s and head to heads. And I always throw the cash line in like a single entry GPP.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, you just never know. I mean, double ups are capped. So if you can only win $10 in a $5 single entry double up, in a $5 single entry GPP, you could win 2,000. So you just never know when that line's going to go off. Now, obviously, we try to make the most, like, I don't want to say safest line is how we make our cash lines, but we definitely make, you know, I guess the right decisions as far as like ownership, as far as, you know, good opportunities, who can you pay for.
More obvious plays, maybe.
Yeah. You know. GPPs in baseball, I love building GPPs in baseball. They're like one of my favorite things to do. Mainly because, like, I'm a huge proponent of stacking in baseball. So for instance, like tomorrow would have been a perfect example. Like tomorrow, Washington plays Homer Bailey in like his 17 ERA or whatever it is career. He was actually a little better last year. But anyway, let's just use that for an example. So, like, if Homer Bailey is really bad and the Nationals are decent hitters, and Homer Bailey, for instance, is really, really, really bad against left-handed hitters, I would have played like Adam Eaton, who's a lefty. I would have played, you know, Bryce Harper, who's a lefty. And then I probably would have played like their 2-hole hitter and like their 5-hole hitter.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing with GPPs and the biggest way that I've been successful winning GPPs is not putting together like, you know, a balanced line and saying like, yeah, this is the line that's going to go off. But stacking in baseball in my opinion, is the way to play GPPs, just because, I mean, if you think about it, if a team scores, let's say 15 runs one night, the majority of those runs are going to come from the people who are the best hitters on the team most of the time. Like, statistically.
Good point.
So you can run like 1 through 4, 1 through 5 in a lineup against a bad pitcher, and then fill in around them, like, you know, some cheap values on the day. Kind of do it that way. The only problem with stacking is salary. So
it goes
like a lot of times you can't stack like the 1 through 5 of the New York Yankees and still like pay for like a 8K pitcher and a, you know, 7K pitcher. Like, it's just not possible. If they're all $5,000, it's impossible. So basically what I'll try to do is take like, and typically this is what happens is I'll try to take, for instance, like, not necessarily like a contrarian stack, but I'll try to get a little different with my stacking. Because a lot of times what people do is they'll go cheap at pitcher, stack a high price team, and then just put in guys around them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of different on that. So like the pitcher is the most like one of the most important positions on DraftKings. Like you can have a pitcher put up like 30 DraftKings points. It's a lot harder for a baseball hitter to put up like 30 DraftKings points. So most of the time if there's an obvious like value play, I'll play him and pair him with someone maybe like mid-range who's in a good spot. Like Garrett Richards for tomorrow is like a mid-range guy who's in a decent spot. So I would pair him with like another mid-range guy in a decent spot. And then my stack would be like tomorrow, for instance, would be like Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, like Wilson Contreras, and maybe like I don't know, someone else. And I'll put all those guys in a stack like 1 through 4 and just hope that they score like 12 runs and those 4 guys do work, you know?
Yeah. It's just like hockey. I mean, same thing. You're getting the lines, it's.
Yeah. And so the biggest thing, in my opinion, too, is, and it's very similar with hockey, very, very similar with hockey, is you double dip. So like,
exactly.
If Chris Bryant gets on base and hits a double, he gets 5 points. If Anthony Rizzo hits a home run, he gets 12, and then you get a run from Chris Bryant and an RBI from Rizzo. So it's kind of like a double dip effect, but it's the same with hockey. Like when you stack a hockey line, if you get a guy that scores a goal, the other guy gets an assist, the other guy, gets a shot on goal. Basketball stacking to me is useless, like just because.
Yeah, I don't really see
you might have like. You might have like Randall, Kuzma, Lonzo do well, or Lopez do well, right? But then on the other side of the ball, like one guy from the other team might score like 50 points and the other guy score like 20.
Yeah.
So, baseball is different. Like if the whole team scores, like the whole top of the lineup scores, like you're double dipping. You just like leapfrog everything.
And basically, like, it's just like your cash lineup is sort of like capped at a certain, like, because you're not going to get those like peripherals, right? You're not going to get or like, GPPs, it's not. It could,
and I think, and just to close out on that, I think I like stacking favorites in a GPP line, but if I was doing like a 3 entry, I would do like my cash line in 1 entry. I would do a like high popular stack in 1 entry, and I'd do a low owned contrarian stack in another.
Yeah.
Last year I used to love stacking like the Phillies. I used to love stacking like Oakland. Because nobody on their team's over like $4,000, and
another thing to do is like, and you guys sort of could do it on your own. And we're not probably gonna have like you said, we're not gonna provide 12 lineups, but if we've got like a 7K pitcher in there, I would go in and spend $1 of your bankroll and literally stack against him in a line. So you give yourself sort of like a little bit of it
on the hedge,
like a hedge, and I do that all the time. So I guess it depends on your bankroll, but it's not a terrible thing to do to waste $1. I mean, at least you never know, right? Especially if the pitcher's going to be either high owned or if you're not 100% sold on the pitcher, you can definitely hedge him a little bit. That's another sort of GPP play.
No, and actually, so I like hedging. A lot of people. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't like hedging. I don't mind it at all. I don't see a problem with it. The only reason I don't mind hedging is because the difference of like what you score and what you lose is just so much greater. Like, if a pitcher gives up a home run to your hitter, you lose like 1 point for the home run for your pitcher, but you get like 12 for a home run. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, you lose a couple points, but you get 12, so you get 10. So I mean, I wish it would have, he would have hit it off someone else. But if you have salary issues and you want to do that, especially on like small slates, man, you have to hedge. Yeah. And people stay away from it. And I don't get it, but
I did it a lot last year, especially if I had a pitcher maybe I didn't like love.
Yeah.
I played him.
Now, obviously, I don't want my pitcher to give up like 12 runs, and
No, but I mean, God forbid he does, and I'm sure playing a million slates is going to happen at some point. But
it will.
He does.
It will. Pitchers will get shelled. That's a disclaimer. Pitchers you own will get shelled. It will. It will happen. There will be nights. Your night is over at like 7:45 because your pitcher's at like -13. Just
Yeah.
Just I can remember it clear as day when Francisco Liriano got like minus like 20, and I don't
Yeah.
even know why I was watching the rest of the games the rest of the night because it was
Told them. Yeah.
oh it was
Yeah.
so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, I think that's a good segue. I hope people, watch the video. Hope they understand what we're kind of talking about. In the chat, you guys can ask any questions. We're going to get started tomorrow.
Yep. Baseball is
And
back, baby. So
both back.
we're on it. So yeah, I'm glad you asked the questions. Yeah, I mean, obviously in the chat, if you have any questions, just ask. We separated everything now, so everybody's in their own little groups as far as like sports. So should be easier. We've got NHL tonight, NBA, baseball tomorrow, basketball tomorrow, NHL tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys, on Twitter, hit us up, DM us if you guys want to get on the action. We do NASCAR, MMA, PJ. PJ starts, tomorrow as well. NASCAR has been really good the last couple of weeks.
Really good. Really.
Yeah, you got a week off this week with the holiday, but
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, like I said, guys, DM us if you got any questions, and
we'll get after it tonight, and baseball's back tomorrow.
Yeah. So all right, hey man, go Yankees. So
yeah, go Yankees. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, dude. Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
All right.